Hey there, welcome to James Plays Things. To start things off on this lovely channel of mine, I thought I would do something really fun, but first, I want to start with some context. Recently, a friend of mine decided he wanted to try and catch up to me in PlayStation Platinums. Of course, I couldn't let him do that, so I hatched a plan. I decided to take 3 days off of work at the end of my winter break to see how many Platinums I could get in that 3-day period. Now, of course, not all of my obligations went away for the 3-day stretch, so I didn't have the full 72 hours. I did still have the bulk of it, and you'll see how I did in a second. My goal was 10 Platinums for the challenge, but I won't tell you how many I ended up with until the end. So as I record this after the fact, I thought I would go through every game I Platinumed during the challenge and review the game itself, as well as the process of getting all the trophies. It's also worth mentioning that for the most part, I tried to do respectable games, not just those 50-cent made to platinum games. However, I do have a few games on this list that some would consider part of that genre, but we'll talk more about that as I cover them. So without further ado, let's get going. Yes, I know I just said I wouldn't do games like this, but hear me out. The My Name is Mayo games weren't just on this list because they were easy to platinum. I actually was interested in playing them. I remember when the game came out and it made its rounds on YouTube. I thought it was super funny, and that sentiment carries over to the playthrough. This game is hilarious. It took about 40 minutes to get all the trophies, and all of them just required playing through everything, which was super easy to do. I was happy to finally play this, and it won't be the last time we see this lovely jar of mayo. A Memoir Blue is an interactive story about an Olympic swimmer's childhood memories with her mother. It's super touching and beautiful, and definitely an experience you should also have. I had originally heard about it in Game Informer, and it instantly caught my attention. Since then, I've kept it on my wish list. That was until I realized how easy the trophy list was. The trophies were all scenario-based, meaning I had to complete certain things within the chapters, like turning on the lights on a billboard or pulling the ice cubes out of a drink. It took me about an hour to get through this one, and I don't regret it in the slightest. In this jar-tapping sequel, it's pretty much exactly like the first. However, there are some more flashy elements to this one and a few new fun mini-games. Otherwise, it was just another tap so many times experience in terms of trophies. Also took me about 40 minutes, just like the first. I had played this plenty of times over friends' houses, but had never played it casually on my own. But I was always aware of how easy the trophies were, so when it came time to plan this challenge out, I knew this one had to make the list. Job Simulator is such a joy. It's funny, it's clever, it's fun, everything. It's just an all-around good experience. In terms of trophies, all of them just require playing the game and doing one fun side thing per job. Definitely pick this up if you haven't somehow in all these years. It took me a total of about 2 hours, which also includes some of just me messing around. This was a game recommended to me by the same friend that this challenge idea was born out of. Since we just got it for free on PlayStation Plus a few months ago, I decided to give it a shot for this video because I also knew the trophies were easy. This was the first longer game I did for the challenge, but just like the few others on this list, I absolutely loved it. It was an adorable game with really fun puzzles and a super pleasing art style and really calming and adventurous soundtrack. Regardless of if you are a trophy hunter or not, you should play this game. The trophies just consisted of completing everything the game had to offer, as well as doing a number of side things and extra puzzles, but nothing too hard. In the end, it took me about 4 hours. In this final game in the Mayo trilogy, they really upped their game. That is to say that there is a lot more to this game than just tapping the bottle, with a walking path later that has magic mushrooms that let you play games like a rough version of Snake, Asteroids, and other games. Similar to the last two, the only trophies are related to playing everything that the game has to offer. It took me about 1 hour to get everything, and I would definitely tell you to play these games, because in total, they only costed me about $4. This is the only game on this list that I had already started before making this video. I had played Chapter 1 with my girlfriend a little over a year ago, and then never ended up getting back to it. However, my girlfriend was super excited for me to play the rest of the game, so I added it onto this list. This game took me what felt like ages. Clearly, it was not supposed to be enjoyed all in one sitting, because by the time I got to the end of the 5th chapter, I was so ready for it to be over. It's worth noting that I'm not an enormous fan of choice games, but this felt even worse. It also took me way longer than I expected, being about 8 hours to take all of the optional photos. I do appreciate that none of the trophies were choice-based though, but I don't really recommend doing this in one sitting. Thankfully, unlike its predecessors, True Colors is so much fun. Not only are the characters way more likable and fleshed out, but the gameplay feels so much faster. I very much enjoyed my time with this game, and just like the first one, I was happy the trophies weren't choice-based, and each of the collectibles added to the story instead of just existing like the photos did in the first game. Highly recommend that you play True Colors if you haven't already. It took me about 9 hours to get everything, but it all felt really fast. Well, that's all the trophies I was able to get, which although I didn't meet my goal, I'm still proud of myself for what I was able to accomplish. I played a total of just under 26 hours of games and earned 320 trophies total. I would definitely do this again and plan to do other fun platinum challenges on this channel in the future. What's your proudest or most difficult platinum? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on James Plays Things.